The movie begins with a young hacker named Benjamin sitting nervously inside a dimly lit interrogation room in Berlin. He has just walked into a hotel suite filled with corpses and somehow survived, and now he insists on speaking only with Honna, the head of Europol's cyber division. She reluctantly agrees, and Benjamin promises to share everything, but only if she listens from the very beginning. His story doesn't start with the mafia or high-profile hacks, it goes back to his childhood. Benjamin explains that since he was a child, he had always felt invisible, someone the world barely noticed. His father had abandoned the family before he was even born, repeating the same pattern of absence that haunted his grandmother's life when her own father was killed in the war. When Benjamin was just 8, tragedy struck again. His mother took her own life, leaving him to be raised by his grandmother. To cope with loneliness, he became fascinated with magic tricks. Later, when he discovered computers, he saw them as another form of magic, one that allowed him to control systems and bend reality with just a keyboard. As he grew older, his talent for hacking flourished, giving him an identity he never had in the real world. Online, he was no longer invisible. He belonged to a digital community where skills mattered more than looks or confidence. His idol became a legendary hacker known as MRX, whose exploits inspired him to follow the hacker's 3 golden rules. No system is safe, always attempt the impossible, and most importantly, enjoy both the digital and physical worlds. For Benjamin, the last rule felt impossible. He had no real friends, worked as a pizza delivery boy because he had never gone to college, and lived a life that made him feel like a failure. One night, during a delivery, Benjamin found himself face to face with Marie, the girl he had admired since high school. She didn't even recognize him. When the pizzas turned out to have an error, she defended him in front of her study group, and he tried to thank her with a superhero quote. Instead of being impressed, she dismissed him as odd, leaving him embarrassed. As he was about to leave, he overheard Marie joking with her friends that she wished she had access to the upcoming exam answers. Driven by a desperate urge to impress her, Benjamin snuck into the university server that night and flawlessly stole the answers. Yet, fate had other plans. He was caught by security. Because he had no prior criminal record, he was spared prison but sentenced to community service. While picking up trash on the streets, Benjamin met Max, a confident and charismatic young man. Max was intrigued by Benjamin's story about hacking the university and decided to test his skills further. That evening, Max invited him to a party where Benjamin felt completely out of place until Max introduced him to Stefan, a software genius, and Paul, a hardware expert. To prove himself, Benjamin used a random laptop in the room to cut power to the entire neighborhood in seconds, leaving everyone in shock. Though it caused panic and the police nearly got involved, the stunt earned him a place in their circle. On their way out of the party, Benjamin stumbled into Marie again, who now realized he was the same pizza delivery guy from before. Amused yet unimpressed, she disappeared into the night. Soon after, Benjamin's grandmother's Alzheimer's worsened, forcing her into a nursing home. This loss further fueled Benjamin's bond with Max and the group. Max preached about social hacking, the art of manipulating people, the weakest link in any system. To demonstrate, he tricked a donut shop clerk into replacing an empty box, using nothing but confidence and persuasion. Benjamin was amazed. Soon, Max led them into bigger schemes. With fake IDs, the group infiltrated a political conference, where Benjamin, following Max's advice, pretended to be an event organizer. He hacked the main presentation and replaced it with a ridiculous video of Hitler. Chaos erupted, and though their getaway van was destroyed, the boys escaped unharmed. Benjamin's home became their headquarters. They uploaded videos online wearing clown masks, and Benjamin coined their group's name, Clay Clowns Laughing at You. They launched one prank after another, from altering financial news graphics to projecting rebellious messages on skyscrapers. Fueled by Ritalin, they stayed awake through nights of hacking until they became internet legends. But Benjamin's personal life remained complicated. When he ran into Marie again at a grocery store, he was too shy to speak, and Max swooped in, charming her effortlessly. Meanwhile, Europol was under pressure. Honna had been investigating a notorious Russian cyber mafia known as FR13NDS, who had carried out devastating attacks for years. While Clay's antics were humorous, MRX dismissed them as harmless amateurs. This stung Max, who was desperate for recognition. To prove themselves, Benjamin suggested an ambitious target: hacking Germany's intelligence agency, the BND. They started with dumpster diving, retrieving documents from trash, and then used phishing to trick a BND employee into opening a malicious link. Through her account, they ordered forged access cards and walked straight through the agency's front entrance. Once inside, Paul disabled alarms, Stefan erased surveillance footage, and Benjamin infiltrated the servers. Before leaving, Benjamin pulled a stunt that made every printer in the building spew pages mocking the BND. Their reputation skyrocketed overnight. Yet their bond began to fracture. At a club celebrating their success, Benjamin found Marie again but discovered she was now kissing Maximum. Humiliated, he returned home shattered. When Max visited, Benjamin lashed out, calling him manipulative. To prove his worth, Benjamin handed stolen BND files to MRX, unknowingly endangering lives. Days later, news broke that a double agent embedded in FR13 NDS had been murdered, exposed because of Benjamin's data leak. Suddenly Clay was no longer a joke, they were labeled terrorists. The group panicked. Stefan wanted out, Paul opposed betrayal, and Max insisted Benjamin surrender himself. Desperate, Benjamin proposed they outsmart MRX and deliver both him and FR13 NDS to Europol. Just then, Marie showed up at Benjamin's door, concerned about his strange behavior. But Benjamin, paranoid and hurt, accused her of caring only about Max and sent her away. Determined to trap MRX, Clay set up in a public library to remain anonymous. Benjamin managed to connect with MRX, who gave him a dangerous job: plant a Trojan virus in Europol's system. Benjamin agreed, hiding another Trojan inside to reveal MRX's identity later. But their plan collapsed when MRX outsmarted him, activated his webcam, and exposed Benjamin's face to the entire darknet. Within moments, Russian mobsters were hunting him. He barely escaped through subway tunnels, but when he returned to the hotel, he found his friends murdered. Shaken, he collected the bullets, called the police, and surrendered to Honor, begging for witness protection. Back in the interrogation room, Benjamin confessed everything. Honor was torn, his story was full of contradictions, but he seemed too valuable to discard. Martin, her colleague, doubted him, pointing out the inconsistencies. Yet Benjamin used his skills to impersonate MRX online, calling himself a snitch. The real MRX, desperate to defend his name, exposed himself as a 19-year-old American hacker in New York. The FBI arrested him instantly, and Honor celebrated the victory. She promised Benjamin a new identity, but her suspicion grew when she noticed a nail wound on his hand, identical to one described in his story. Investigating further, she discovered shocking truths. Marie denied meeting Benjamin recently. His grandmother's doctor revealed that Benjamin's mother had suffered from multiple personality disorder, which was hereditary, and Ritalin could worsen it. Lab tests confirmed the bullets he had brought were relics from his grandmother, not fresh crime evidence. Honor pieced it together: Max, Paul, and Stefan never existed. They were fragments of Benjamin's fractured mind, alternate personalities born from loneliness. All the hacking had been carried out by him alone. Stunned, Benjamin rejected the idea, terrified of being like his mother. Worse, Honor explained that mentally ill individuals could not qualify for witness protection. Desperate, Benjamin had a breakdown. Moved by his despair, Honor offered him one last chance. On their way to court, she gave him access to a government computer and told him he could create a new identity himself by hacking the witness protection database. He agreed, swearing never to hack again. Soon after, Benjamin walked free, bleached his hair, and boarded a ferry, seemingly ready to start a new life. On board, he found Marie waiting alongside Max, Paul, and Stefan. In that moment, the truth was revealed: Benjamin had never been alone. The group was real, and they had orchestrated an elaborate con to deceive Honor. Together, they had staged everything, planting inconsistencies in the story, faking the nail wound, and even using Benjamin's grandmother's old bullets as evidence. Marie, with her legal knowledge, helped craft the deception, knowing Honor would conclude Benjamin was mentally unstable. The trick worked perfectly. Instead of entering witness protection, Benjamin deleted all traces of himself and his friends from government databases. They were now truly invisible, free to start anew. As Europol celebrated the capture of MRX and FR13NDS, Honna attended the press conference, realizing she had been manipulated. Yet, instead of anger, she smiled faintly. Benjamin had outplayed her, but in the end, the bigger criminals were behind bars. The hacker she once doubted had indeed pulled off the impossible. And that's how this incredible movie comes to an end. We'll meet again with another amazing story explained in detail. Until then, take care of yourself, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below.